everybody? Welcome to the MLS watch-along of the U.S. men's national team taking on Uruguay in an international friendly. We are in our AT&T 5G virtual studios. I'm Susannah Collins, and I could not be happier to be joined by this rock star group of fellas. Once again, we've got Charlie Davies, Matt Doyle, DaMarcus Beasley. This is going to be a fun one, guys, as we all remember the U.S. coming off a really solid performance against Morocco. They beat them 3-0, but today it's another opponent, another World Cup opponent in Uruguay, another big test for this team. And always, as always, we want you guys to get in the chat. We've got the YouTube comments up. We've got the Twitch comments up. So send us your comments. Send us your questions. We're going to be monitoring those throughout the game. So we definitely want to hear from you. But guys, great to be back with the crew. The gang's all together. How are we feeling coming off that result against Morocco, taking on Uruguay tonight? Matt Doyle, last game you said you were just in like the best mood. You were happy. You wanted to have fun. Are those vibes still continuing with you? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I'm in the same headspace, right? Like I think we all had fun the other night watching the U.S. play like that, put together, a lot of good attacks, played a different shape, so it was interesting in that way as well, and getting a good win over a good team. It's a better team now that they're facing, and I think it's probably a better lineup for the U.S. just because we're getting to see, I think, the first choice midfield. And so I'm looking to have more fun, Suze. I would like to see the U.S. play really, really well against this Uruguay team, who, one of the 10 best teams in the world basically forever. And so let's see if they can go out there. The U.S. can go out there and control the ball a little bit, turn it into chances, maybe a nice result here.
All right, Charlie, you're always rocking the good vibes. How are you feeling tonight? What do you want to see from the U.S.?
Similar to Doyle, I'm positive. I'm really feeling this team right now, and I think they gained a ton of experience in World Cup qualifying, which has better prepared them for what's in front of them, a World Cup. And these games matter. These are friendlies, but they know they have to use these games to prepare themselves for the competition they're going to face in Qatar. And so I'm looking at this lineup and I'm pumped. One, the midfield that's the solidified midfield. There's no one moving outside of that three unless there's an injury. That's who he trusts. Christian is staying there for sure. And Tim Waya is the guy there unless eventually he moves up to the 9 and gets a chance there and does well. But I think that is what we're going to see in the midfield. Jesus Ferreira, this is his chance. He got the start in the first game. He's going to run him out again because he's in form in MLS. So why not get him a quality test in Uruguay and to see if he can score here or play a big role in goals and creating goals. So I'm excited in the back four. Long and Zimmerman, we know that's the pair. That's the pair that Greg Berhalter believes in. He thinks Aaron Long is matches up well with Zimmerman, and he wants to get him up to speed. So, again, it's another test for Aaron Long. Scally, this is his chance. Everyone's been saying, hey, get Joe Scally on the field. Well, here's an opportunity to prove that he's a viable second option at left back. And Yedlin, we know what we're going to get from Yedlin, very consistent. So this is a game just to consider to keep his place in the team. And Sean Johnson, great on him. Coming off an MLS Cup, he's been super solid. So let's see what he has. I like what I'm seeing from Greg Berhalter with this 11.
All right, we're 2 for 2 on the good vibes. Bees, give it to me.
I've always got good vibes.
I know. I didn't doubt it for a second.
Yeah, I've always got good vibes. No, I agree. These games they're fun to watch. Obviously, Charlie and I know they're fun to be a part of. But looking at this team and the lineup that Greg put out, we can tell, and it shows that he's starting to kind of try to put his preferred, obviously his center backs, obviously his middle three. I think that is, like what Charlie said, I think that is pretty set in stone, bearing any injuries. But I'm excited to see, Weston back in the fold. I think it's important to get him back. I think we're talking over, behind the scenes, and Doyle mentioned that he might only get 45 minutes today, but that's enough. That's good for him and for the team, and to see him back and to start, to get those midfield three kind of clicking again. It's important, but for me, I think the only thing, well, not the only thing, but one of the things I'm re-looking at today is a left back, Scally. We know what Sean John can do. We know what Yellen can do. Some of the other prize. I mean, we can talk about the number 9 until we're blue in the face. But I'm looking at, to see if there's a real viable option besides Robinson at left back. So I'm looking real close at Scally, and he's a very good player. Obviously, he's playing in the Bundesliga. Yeah. I'm excited about his future. So I'm pumped for the game, and hopefully they get a good result and show a little bit of from the same form from last game.
I love it. We're gonna go 4 for 4 on the good vibes because I feel great. I am calm, cool, collected. I just want to enjoy this one. I feel like that performance against Morocco was definitely something to build on. I love this starting 11 from Greg Berhalter. To all your guys' point, I feel like we're starting to see what his preferred lineup is going to look like when Qatar rolls around. So here is how it is lining up for the United States tonight. As we mentioned, one of the things I want to address here is Jesus Ferreira getting the start again in that number 9 position. Now we saw Haji come in last game. He scored the goal on the PK, his first goal in his first call up. And Ferreira, seemingly heading into these friendlies, kind of seemed to have that number 9 position locked up. He did have a chance in that game against Morocco that he was not able to finish. But what does this tell you? Charlie, I want to ask you this. What does this tell you about Greg Berhalter's confidence in Ferreira? Does he have anything to prove tonight?
Yes, every time you step on the field, you have something to prove. That goes without saying, especially at the number 9 position. But I think there's a trust because you understand how he plays and how he works for the team and the spaces that he likes to show up, how that typically helps the team build out of the back because you have a center forward who's offering you an option forward. But with that being said, you don't make your name checking back and keeping possession as a striker. You make your name by scoring goals and creating goals. And so I think the pressure is on for him to produce because everyone knows he's pretty good at checking and getting into good spaces. How's the hold up play? You're going against two big center backs and the Martin Caceres is more of a left back, but he's putting in himself in the third center back spot. But this is a good test. Now, Haji Wright is sitting there like, I'm waiting for my chance. The players really respect Haji Wright and have a relationship because they've had that youth national team experience. That's going in his favor. So if I'm a striker, if I'm in Jesus Ferreira's shoes, I feel the pressure. I do. And I know that these next 45 minutes are pretty important in the grand scale thing. If I can score, I silence the haters. I get that monkey off my back. And I know I can also really have these big type of performances against a big team. So this is going to be a big match, and I'm going to be watching his movement in behind the back line and in behind the outside backs, those wing backs.
Love it. All right. One of the things, one of the changes that we're seeing here, we've got Joe Scally, as we mentioned, in there because Anthony Robinson came down with some sort of bug. We're not quite sure what it is, but Berhalter did say that if he couldn't go, it was going to be Joe Scally. And Doyle, I know you've got some thoughts on this. What do you make of this move from Greg Berhalter here?
I mean, it's interesting because George Bello played I'll say significant or regular role with the U.S. during qualifying. He was not good, but he played a regular role. And Scally has just come into this camp and pretty clearly beaten him out for the left back job, even though Scally, never got on the field for the U.S. until the other day. It'll be interesting to see how he does. As the guys have pointed out in the past, he's not a left footer, so he's not really a natural left back, though he did end up playing more left back, left wing back this year for Mönchengladbach than he did on the right side. So, he's not intimidated when he goes out there. He's not a fish out of water. At the same time, he still plays young. He still plays so naive, and I think we saw that at times in that second half. Against Hakimi in particular. Now, granted, Hakimi might be the best right back in the entire world, so it's a very tough matchup. But I do want to see a little bit more sophistication from him rather than just the pure north-south athleticism that he brings to the table. That's for one. But long-term, it's neither Bello nor Scally that I'm most excited about at this position. It's the other young kid in the Bundesliga, Kevin Paredes. He barely played for Wolfsburg after he made that switch. But this is, I think, for the vast majority of this roster, this camp is your chance to really stake a claim. But I think that's really, really true for these young backup left backs, because none of them have made any sort of dent at all with the national team. So if Scally goes out there today and he has a really big game, like that, he could move, I think, further towards solidifying his spot than maybe anybody else on the field outside of a Jesus Ferreira. Yeah, it's really, really big for him, I think.
Spicy. Bees, do you agree with that?
I agree with that. I mean, you look at the especially the starting 11. We can pretty much say it's set in stone that those guys are going to be in Qatar and on the plane. But when you look at that left back position, and we were debating about it, last game, is he going to bring another, left back as far as like George Bello or Paredes or, Scally's not really left back. So, who's going to fit that void? Obviously just Serginho Dest, if there's an injury, he can play left back in a pinch. And then maybe you have Yellen or, or whoever's going to be that backup right back. So, yeah, I agree with Doyle. I think this is a huge, huge chance for him. And the fact that he's starting against this team right now, right before the World Cup, is showing that, it's showing us, and I think it's showing Scally that Berhalter has faith in him. He's not going to put him out there if he thinks he's not good enough or he's not ready. So this is his chance. This is his chance to stake his claim and to be on that plane in Qatar.
How important is that for a player's confidence to know that the coach believes in you that much? It's
huge.
No, you're the guy.
Huge. A lot of 90, and Charlie, you can agree or disagree, but I think 90% of players need that extra confidence from the coach. Like you had a bad game. If he takes you out but he starts you the next match, it shows you that, okay, yes, we know you had a bad game, but don't have to. This is the same with Ferreira in the number 9 position. He needs to produce. It's showing that Berhalter has trust, and he's done this in the past. When Pepe wasn't scoring with the national team, he scored a couple goals. Then after that, he stopped scoring, but he still started him. He was showing faith and he was showing confidence in his striker. But then at a certain point, it's about the team. It's not about the player. So I think this shows that he has confidence in players like Scally. He has confidence in Ferreira and these guys that are kind of like on the cusp. So, we'll see. And hopefully they have good performances today.
Yeah.
I'll second that, just because some coaches will tell you and give you confidence versus I'll show you by just giving you those chances.
Giving you the chances. Right? Exactly.
And I've had, coaches where they're on you the whole time. They're not playing you. You're like, why are they on me all the time? Why are they not playing me? And it's because they expect a lot from you. And then next thing you know, you start getting starts and you get your chance. And then that's all it takes, and you take off. So for Jesus Ferreira, he has to feel the trust and confidence from Greg. And I'm sure Greg's a pretty vocal guy that he's saying, here's your start because you've earned it. Now go out and do these things. You got to execute.
Yeah, 100%. Worth mentioning, guys, for those of you that were turning in expecting a double header tonight, we got word earlier that the match between Canada and Panama has been called up. They will not play in tonight's World Cup warm-up due to ongoing contract disputes. This is per TSN, a report from them. We're all you get tonight. There's no, that's it. That's it. But I feel like that's enough, we're gonna make it worth your while, everybody. It's gonna be a fantastic game. But yeah, again, that Canada-Panama match will not be played this evening. Guys, we are moments away from kickoff. Any sort of just final thoughts before we kick this thing off officially?
The kickoff started already.
Oh, did it?
No,
are you already? Are we doing this again?
Gotcha.
Got
him.
Please.
Just kidding. So I had to throw it in there.
Yeah,
that was good. You got me.
I want to make a point.
Here we go.
About Ferreira. Like, I rewatched the game the other night, and Charlie's absolutely right. He's really good at coming back and finding the ball and build up. and when the U.S. is playing clean, right? When they're connecting passes and everything's moving in a rhythm, he knows exactly how to get to the spots where he wants to find shots. He's really good at keying the press. He's a very good passer. He checks all those boxes. But when the game gets a little bit frazzled, a little bit scrappy, he kind of disappears, right? Like when it stops going according to plan, he doesn't have that instinct for a number 9 where you want to see where he's like, you know what, I'm gonna beat the hell out of the center back. He's gonna be looking at my heels the entire night. He doesn't seem to have that tomorrow. He didn't the other night anyway, and it shows itself not just in transition moments, but on rebounds. He's nowhere near the ball on rebounds. So one thing that I'm looking for tonight from Jesus Ferreira is if Tim Waya is uncorking from range, which he's going to do 2 or 3 times today because he loves doing that, and why should he not? I want to make sure I will be disappointed if Jesus Ferreira is not on his toes looking to follow up just in case the goalkeeper spills, just in case he has a chance to get a tap in. If he starts scoring goals like that, then I don't think there's going to be any question that he is the go-to choice as a center forward in Qatar. But if he doesn't score goals like that, England, Wales, Iran, they're not going to let the U.S. play pretty for 270 minutes in the group stage. We need a center forward out there who could go out there and impose himself and just win your individual battle. And it's not a dance out there. Not everything is going to go according to the steps that you guys have laid out. I need to see that from Jesus Ferreira in this game and next game, basically everything that happens for the next 6 months before I believe in him as a starting center forward.
Doyle coming in hot. I like it, although it did kind of give me a little bit oh God, there's a lot. Maybe there's more on the line here than I thought.
He wasn't following up looking for rebounds. It was driving me nuts. Oh God, I think you're 9. Come on, buddy.
You came in.
Kill the good vibes.
Right.
Coming in hot. I love it. Okay. Before kickoff, we've got Sporadicus in the comments. He wants some match predictions from y'all. DaMarcus, let's start with you. How's this one going to go?
I'm going, I got to go first. Goodness gracious.
Yes.
Man.
You do.
I'm going to say 2-1 US.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think they're gonna ride with this momentum. They played really well against Morocco. I know Uruguay's a different beast, but I like the way they're playing. I'm really looking forward to this midfield 3 to see them playing again. So I'm going 2-1 US.
Okay, Chuck.
Now, if Uruguay was playing their first choice 11, this would be a little bit more difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with B. I'm gonna go with B's 2-1.
2-1.
You have a 36-year-old. I know Diego Godin is as experienced as you get, but you got 2 old men in the back with Jose Maria Jimenez, and I've seen some of his play with Atletico Madrid this year. I think we get 2 goals with that back line. I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Doyle.
I'll say 1-1. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be interesting to see how Uruguay play because they're playing kind of a 3-5-2. I would say in this one they've most often played like a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-4-2 even over the years. So it's a little bit different look from Diego Alonso. But regardless, I think it'll end up being 1-1. I think it'll end up being a pretty well-played game. I'm hoping it ends up being a little bit more intense than what we saw the other night, which was really good for a friendly. But we all know the gap between a friendly and an official competition is pretty large.
Okay, I'm gonna go 2-2 with this one. I feel like this could be a draw. We also Edinson Cavani. He's not getting the start, but he is on the bench. He can make an appearance. That guy scored 2 goals against Mexico. He's ridiculous. Darwin Nunez. I don't know. I just feel like there's potential here for some goals, but I think it's going to be a draw in front of a home crowd at Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City. Kickoff just literally moments.
All right, now it just kicked off.
It kicked off.
I think we're all synced.
All right,
I think
5, 6,
it kicked off.
7,
Yes.
8, 9.
So
Okay.
if you guys
I'm ahead of you, Charlie. I'm on 15.
All right,
16.
Okay, I'm on 14.
You're 2 seconds.
I'm a
I'll
little
take
behind.
that.
I'm 2 seconds behind. This is way better than we were.
Doyle?
But guys, if you want to sync up, this is
Doyle.
what we're on right now.
26,
Okay?
27.
Yeah, I'm with you. Me and Matt the same. We're on the same.
Wait, what are you guys on? I'm on 29, 30. Am I behind you?
I'm on 35 now. 36.
I'm 2 seconds
37.
behind you, Bees.
Yeah.
Bees.
Sorry.
Bees.
I'll try to
Dang.
rewind my TV. Sorry.
Dang, this is much better than last game where Beasley was literally like 15 minutes ahead.
Yeah, it was.
All of us, which made for some entertaining moments for sure.
My reactions for sure.
Well, one thing to talk about, we now know who the United States will play, who their first opponent will be in Qatar, and that is Wales after they took down Ukraine today. I can't lie, guys. That was I was a little bit heartbroken for Ukraine in this one. It was a 1-0 result. It was just you felt like they just had kind of like the world behind them. But you know, that bad man, Gareth Bale, just
all right, look how far how deep he drops though.
But how do you dribble on the 18-yard line of your own box and get behind the man? Like that's
but
confidence.
But
seriously,
how can we want him doing that?
I know.
What I mean?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Can I finish?
Go
Can
ahead.
I go? I'm just saying. Yes. No, we do not want him dribbling at the top of our box. You know,
I like this
with a forward. But you can see the confidence that this kid has. How are you not starting him in a World Cup match?
And the talent.
And the talent that he has. And to be able to do it, like, I mean, I get your point, Chi. I get your point. I get it. Trust me. We do not want him dribbling at the top of our box.
No. This is my point, though. He's as great as he is, and I think he should be on the field. But they need to find someone, though, who can be a conduit between the midfield and that number 9. Because he's supposed to be that guy. Weston drops too deep, too, though.
But you see, hey, I'm telling you, all these goals, we all know all the goals you scored with Juventus, and even chipped in with some in the U.S. before he got injured.
Who's playing under him? I mean, in front of him.
Still.
Oh, boy.
Oui.
I just, like, with Musa out there, like, I get what you're saying. Like, you want to get more goals and assists from him. But for the U.S., I think a lot of times when he's not out there, like, we don't even get into the final third to get in position to create goals and assists.
Right.
Like, we need someone who progresses the ball from back to front and can do it off the dribble, can do it with his passing, can draw defenders to him and then eliminate them by slipping the fullback on the overlap, and then, you know, create from those wide spots. I just think he's so valuable at that. It's not worth taking him off for another attacker. Though it does, you're right, it puts more onus on Weston to get into the box and finish off plays.
We got a question in the chat that, Doyle, I want to direct to you. Omni Novaya, didn't Uruguay just dispatch Mexico pretty easily?
Yes, different lineup.
Different lineup. Is that the difference though, or is Mexico? I mean,
Mexico's in trouble right now, but Mexico was also playing a different lineup, right?
Okay.
Mexico was playing in like a 3-4-2-1, not their usual lineup. They had some of their regulars out there, but they were missing some as well. So it was a combination of Uruguay fielding pretty much the strongest team, I think, and Mexico tinkering around a little bit. And then on top of that, just like Mexico's not in good form. You know, like Tata might be in some trouble.
He already is in trouble.
In trouble. I feel like the pressure cooker that he is existing in right now is pretty intense.
Oh,
that's
good
definitely
ball.
what you don't want. Yeah, good ball. But
oh boy,
you definitely don't want Christian back defending.
Okay.
1-on-1. Wow.
Man, and that's the guy you don't want to get the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Great movement.
Worth mentioning too, Uruguay have only conceded 1 goal in their last 5 games. But the U.S. have not lost a home match to Uruguay. They played them last time they played them was 2019. It was a 1-1 draw, I believe. So we got a formidable backline. Okay, I want to take it back to the Wales thing though. What do we think about that's going to be the U.S.'s first game? USA Wales on opening day of the World Cup, November 21st. How do we feel about that matchup, DaMarcus?
I like the matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot of the ball. I think we'll create chances there. Definitely a stingy team to break down. And we all know how good Gareth Bale is in big matches and what he can produce in a game, in one game. But I think as far as the best case scenario out of Wales or Ukraine, I think it was we got the best case scenario to in getting Wales. So I'm looking forward to that game. I think the U.S. can pull a not even an upset. I think they are the favorites, to win that first match.
I'm with you. I love it. I think it's a great matchup. In terms of a World Cup, they're a team that concedes possession. You don't have to worry about chasing the game. They're very direct. I think they're also very predictable. You got to watch out for set pieces because Gareth Bale and just his influence. Other than that, they try and break you down on the counter and transition. I like our chances in a game versus Wales, and I think we have more quality than Wales.
I feel like it's a tricky game though, because it's, Wales, Gareth Bale is enough. He can just have one moment and that could be enough. It could be like a tricky game for the US, especially it's the opening match, like getting 3 points in that first game would be so huge. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it.
It's almost a must win.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah. Yeah, but anytime you play in a World Cup, you can't. A draw is enough. You can't. You just don't want to lose. You need a point at least in your first game.
Yes.
Oh, great ball. Oof.
Oh
boy.
Okay.
She's waiting. She's waiting to see what happens.
Did Sean get a hand on that? What was that?
I don't think so.
Man, that's a great cross.
It's a great cross, but my thing is you're giving him too much space to get that cross off.
Yep. That's twice now. Both of those Scally has struggled. Like the first time he came all the way up, and then Varela was able to turn and play who was that? Who had the first cross? Well, anyway, play the guy down
that's the third giveaway from Jesus Ferreira. I think it's like 3 touches, 3 giveaways.
So Uruguay in a group with South Korea, Portugal, and Ghana in Qatar. How do you feel about their chances in getting out of the group? That's a tough group.
It is. I like their chances a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, great chance.
Okay. I'm not comfortable watching. I need a refill.
So this is a kind of like the same thing that we saw the other night, where like big switches from one side, like just one side to the other, opening the game up against this U.S. team. Like when we have them against the sideline, we have to keep them pinned against the sideline, and we're not seeing that from the U.S. at this point.
Suze, but I don't think Ghana is as strong as they typically are. And South Korea, yes, they're good, but if Uruguay is playing at their best,
Yedlin off the line.
I think they can get through.
Okay.
I think that's as far as how tough groups can be in MLS in the World Cup. I think that's a favorable group for Uruguay.
Okay.
Who was the third one? It was South Korea, Portugal, and who?
Ghana.
Your old buddies.
Yeah. Right? So you play them every single World Cup.
Literally.
Which team do you think was the best of the Ghana teams you played? What year?
I would say
2010.
That's a good question. Yeah, I was gonna say 2010. Yeah.
But very beatable, but they were strong.
Yeah.
And they should have beat Uruguay.
They should have.
I always think of that ping pong from 06. Man's legs were like 3 times mine.
Yeah. Sean's looked comfortable so far with his feet.
Except for that one left-footed pass.
Yeah, he's looked okay.
For Sean, though, what does this appearance mean for him? You know, is this his sort of audition for that third keeper position, or is this what do you think Greg Berhalter already has his mind made up? What does this mean?
Well, it could only help.
Yeah.
So, you know, if he has a solid performance and he plays out of the back with his feet and he shows he can do it in these tough situations, then yes. Oh,
there we go. There we go.
Yeah, you ahead of me now, Charlie?
No, same time.
Oh. You said, oh, there wasn't nothing going on.
Well, it was just when he picked it off. I thought he was going to take a touch towards. I thought he was going to take a touch towards the box and not wide.
Okay, so initial thoughts. We're into the 13th minute here of the match. How we're feeling? Feels like Uruguay is have had a few decent looks.
They're winning the ball in central midfield, and like everything is
so
sort
they're
of
winning the midfield battle,
that.
which was a question that Greg Berhalter had in this match. He was very curious to see how these two midfields matched up. So right now, you would say that Uruguay is winning that battle.
I think so, yeah. But good tackle, and now off to the races. Come on, Timmy.
Mm-hmm. Put it in. Oh.
One too many touches.
Hey, Charlie, did you see it? Yes, I was going to say, Charlie, you hated that one. That one right behind the center backs, early ball.
I could not stand if someone took another touch.
Yeah, took another touch. He just did. And I think, he just said sorry, because he knows. Yeah, he knows.
You know, you got to show him a highlight of Bees' assist to Clint in 2006.
Right there, put it right there. Oh man,
right there, yeah.
Put it.
Oh my God, yes. What? No.
I remember.
He was there.
Jesus might have been off.
Was there.
He might have been off.
With his arm.
Might have been off.
He might have been off. But still, you need to put that ball behind the center backs.
Oh my God.
It's so late. It's so late.
How am I so late? What is wrong? So late. Why am I always?
I was somewhere. I was somewhere in the middle.
Playing catch up.
That's funny.
Oh my God! If that had gone in, though, oh my God, I would have lost my mind.
The other point I'm going to make is that good attack from the U.S. came from Scally winning like a good hard tackle, so maybe that settles him down. You know, get his head into it.
And he's off. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, I love this comment. Il Cucho. I did not know that Pipita Higuain streamed. Doyle, I believe that's it's directed at you, sir. How do you feel? How do you feel about those comparisons? Because I feel like it keeps happening, and it's kind of undeniable at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
I'll say that I'm in the gym 6 days a week these days. I'm not sure Pepita is, so I don't know.
Wow!
Oh my
yes! God. Yes! Oh, I'm here for it. God, that is a face-off I would love to see. Maybe we could get like a little arm wrestling competition between Pipa and Doyle, just facing off.
The U.S. press is causing some problems here, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it feels like they're settling into this one a little bit more now. Guys, just a reminder, we are monitoring the chats, so get in there, get your comments in, get your questions. We've got some pretty powerful soccer knowledge in the form of these guys up here, so this is a chance for you to pick their brains. So ask away. So Flying Banana in Twitch, the Twitch chat just said, I'm very surprised we haven't conceded yet. Do you feel like the U.S. have gotten, they're lucky that it's still scoreless at this point, or were the chances for Uruguay nothing that concerning to y'all?
I think there's a couple. They did the same thing against Morocco. Morocco had two really good chances in the first half to make it interesting for the United States. But as Charlie knows better than anybody on this call, on this chat, that it's about scoring goals and putting the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, it's a little bit worrying that they've started this way the last two games against World Cup opponents, because if you give those chances away enough times, there's going to be someone's going to put the ball in net, and you're down 1-0 within 5 minutes, and that's not good. So yeah, they gotta clean that up that first couple of minutes of the game for sure. It's almost nerves, right, in the start, and after a couple of minutes, it all eases. But I'll tell you right now, you don't have a couple of minutes in the World Cup, just like B said. No. So Darwin Nunez, he fluffs that first chance. Well, if that's Harry Kane, it's 1-0, right?
Yeah.
So they had a header. They had a header as well. Yeah. It went right over the bar. So I mean, and these are good chances right in front of them. These are not half chances. These are good chances. Scally got caught inside.
Ay.
Well done, Sean. I have to see that play over again. Why was he inside so much?
I don't know, man. It's tough figuring out what he does out there.
Yeah, I didn't. I can't. That's why I can't comment on it because I didn't see the play. But he was really inside.
No. Wait, I got a good question. I have to clarify this for someone. MudGod21 said, so is this just you guys watching the game? I've never clicked on this before. So just so y'all know, yes.
Yes, we're watching the game.
We are literally watching the game. I am a little bit behind all of these fellas, apparently. But yes, we are watching the game. We are reacting to it. This is a live reaction. This is how it works. Oh, we got a chance here. Come on. No. Okay, I liked that. A little better. So yes, you're watching us watch a game.
Great ball, Sean.
Yeah, Sean looks confident, man.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
I love that from him.
I like that pass from Zimmerman, though.
Yeah, the one that came inside, the one inside. Yeah. Me too. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was a good pass.
I would say to go back on Scally when he's going inside, I think that's the case of a coach telling you, hey, you got to be inside, and they overdo it because they're so focused on trying to impress and listen to the coach, and then they take these words like too seriously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got my guy Greg. Greg was active last game.
He's right-footed.
Love you. Thank you. Greg has a question. He said USA started slow all qualifying
cycles.
Oh my God. What are we at?
But that's a tough one though. Charlie, you've been in that situation. Do you think he should have scored that? That's a tough.
It's a very difficult.
That's tough.
It's a very difficult ball to get down because your full sprint, it's whipping across, and most likely you don't even have a chance to get your feet set.
Oh, right. Man.
So you're trying to adjust quick, and if you're not anticipating, which I don't think he did, it's going to go over.
Yeah.
I think he was probably thinking that thing was going to come low, low and hard, and all of a sudden you're expecting one thing, and then at the last second, let's see. Yeah, it's behind him too. It's behind him too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, this
and
is
USA goes again. Come on, Christian.
This is a little better. This is a little better.
I mean, the slow start, I think the U.S. has pretty clearly been better.
How do you avoid a slow start? This is the question that we got in the chat from Greg. You know, like to Charlie and DaMarcus's point, like you can't do that. You can't do that in a World Cup. Like teams will capitalize.
Yeah, it's all about concentration. It's all about concentration. Because obviously everyone's a bit nervous. You get that first feeling of butterflies when the whistle blows. But I think it's just about making a simple pass, making a simple plays, and then obviously you grow into the game. I think that's what always, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but that's what I always try to do. If there's an easy ball,
you know a thing or two, Bees.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, every player is different. Every player is different. So I think for me, just making that first simple pass, whatever it was, if it was 5 yards, 3 yards, if it was just handing the ball off to Clint or to Landon and letting them do their thing, that's what I did. And after that, I was good. But I think just that first 5 minutes, you got to concentrate on your personal job to make sure you don't make any mistakes.
Beasley, we got a question for you. Have you ever faced off against Wales, and have you ever played any games against Gareth Bale? And what was that like?
I've never played against Wales.
Okay.
I can't remember, but when I was at City, I don't know if he played the game when we played against Tottenham. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think he did, but I really don't know. But no, I've never played against Wales though.
Okay. Yeah, Wales making their first World Cup.
Gareth.
First World Cup for Wales in 64 years. So this was
and Noah was not a part of that World Cup, by the way, in 64.
You were not. Just to clarify for the kids at home.
There's always some picture like 1934 or 1930, whatever the old World Cup, and it's like, oh, Bees, were you there? Was that you? Did I see you in the background?
That's so rude.
Oh, man. It's so rude. So rude.
Show some respect. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I don't understand the U.S. midfield shape right there. That's a little weird.
What would you like to see, Doyle?
So I like on that the sequence leading up to that last chance from Uruguay, the one that Sean pushed over the bar. Like it starts on the left sideline for Uruguay's left sideline, and all three U.S. central midfielders are out there. And all three get eliminated, like taken out of the play with one pass. And then there's it's kind of like a half-hearted recovery, and Tyler comes back. But the other guys are kind of lost. They're kind of like hanging up a little higher. And there's just obviously a Uruguayan attacker sitting right there in the pocket that somebody needs to come deal with. And like nobody does it. So it feels like, I don't know. It feels like A, they're not locked in, but B, like they're trying something a little bit different in terms of their defensive rotations, and it's kind of leaving them a little bit lost, and it's making me nervous. It's making me nervous is what it ultimately comes down to, because if you give good teams space like that, eventually they're gonna hurt you.
Ooh, good foul.
Yeah, I like that foul from Christian.
Yeah, that's a Premier League foul right there.
Explain to the people why that's a good foul.
I mean, for me, I just think it shows that he's not going to back down from a tackle. Mm-hmm. It was a foul where it doesn't deserve it didn't merit a yellow card. It was a hard foul, and it's all about mental games and when you're playing. So they know that, okay, yeah, he's a great player. He plays at Chelsea, blah blah blah. But he's going to fight. Mm-hmm. It's basically saying that he ain't no punk. Basically,
yes.
That's what that foul says.
100%. And he's willing to work on both sides of the ball.
And he's willing to work. Exactly. So I mean but that's from not even just from an opponent situation, but even your teammates. You got your arguably your best player, your the star coming back running, and obviously trying to get the ball, we're mixing hard foul and kind of stopping any kind of counterattack that they could have had. That's great stuff from Christian. All those little details matter.
Mm-hmm. And as a captain, that's what he needs to do, right? Like that's
for sure.
It's part of the job. Little hydration break. What do you think Walker's saying to the group right now? He's chirping.
Bees is great at reading lips.
Yeah, I know. What are we saying?
Nah, I'll let Doyle handle this one.
Oh, okay. We got a question from Flying Banana. Hello, Flying Banana. Love that. Love that name. He says, do you think we will win a World Cup this century?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. The century is a long time. It's got a lot of World Cups.
Yeah. We're like a quarter way through. Come on. The answer is yes.
Yeah. Yeah, what are we going to say? No. I mean,
yeah. Like,
No, we're
How about this decade, Suze?
Yeah.
That's a better question. So how about, okay, so yes, this decade, will we win a World Cup this decade?
I want your answer. I asked you.
26? Yes.
Wow, I like that.
Wow.
I feel
Big
good.
confidence.
I feel good. I feel really good.
Have you been drinking?
Remember, there's 48 teams.
You've been drinking.
Yes, I have. But I thought this was a judgment-free zone. I'm trying to keep the good vibes rolling.
More competition in the next one.
That's true. That is true. But the thing is that I think we are fully capable of making it to the quarterfinals in the 26th. And then after that, once you get to that point, you don't know what's like, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
That's
playing
true.
in North America.
Agreed.
Like I just think that there are a lot of things that could go their way. So why the heck not?
And to be honest, it always depends on who you get in your group, though.
Absolutely.
It always depends. It always
Absolutely.
depends on that. I mean, because we were in the group of death. I mean, yeah. I mean, one time we were, and we made it out. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's difficult to say. Oh, okay.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, player that Charlie doesn't rate. Great ball by Waya. Changing the subject. It's a great ball by Waya.
You gotta be there.
Chuck, say it again.
You gotta be there for that.
Okay.
That was the early ball you're looking for,
Break
right?
it down for us.
That's what we're looking for. That early one right across.
Right as soon as he takes that touch, you can see his heads up. You're taking a chance. You're making a run right into that 6-yard box.
Was he late? What was
I think he was late.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he was accurate.
Oh gosh. See, it all goes back to what Doyle said. Now he's in my head.
I think there was doubt there that ball would get through. And so if that focus isn't 100%, you're going to miss the ball.
So in that situation, should he assume that ball's going through?
You should always assume. You should always assume
you're
that
making
ball's
that
going.
run. That is your job as a striker. You've got to have that mentality of like, this ball's coming through. I'm going to connect.
And Suze, that's what separates the best strikers.
Yeah.
The ones who score the most goals from the ones who, are average, is because they have that sixth sense. It's most strikers may say, oh, the ball's not going to get through on this opportunity, or this space, I don't need to move to it because he's not going to look, the ball's not going to get there. Where the other ones who are just so prone to scoring goals is because they have that feeling of this is where the ball's going to go, or this is where my teammate always typically hits the ball. I know his tendencies. I'm going to go here. Defender usually checks, or the defender will step. So I'm going to peel off his back shoulder and I'm going to be there for the tap in. It's those little moments that add 15, 20 goals in a season.
See, this is why I love watching these with you guys. This is the
And I'll even add on that. I'll even add on what Charlie just what he just said. So the last one, we were crying out to have Waya hit that ball early.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew it because he even said, I saw on the replay, he said, my bad. He knew that he should have put that ball. He took one too many touches. So next time you should know as a forward, and correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, if your winger is telling you, no, my bad, it's my fault. And he gets the next time to put that ball early behind the defenders, it should come across. So he should be there. He already knows. He should be already anticipating that ball is coming across the face of the goal.
That's good. This is good stuff, guys. Oh, John Carl Tritt, I love you. We got a call-up fan on here. He said, Susannah, he wasn't here for that. Thank you. That is a reference to the podcast, the call-up, which you should listen to and subscribe. Thank you very much. That's my plug.
Unless somebody's just so selfish.
That's a foul. Oh, great touch by Tyler.
Go.
They're finding a ton of space on that right side, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
Yep.
A ton of space.
Doyle, how are you feeling about? We saw them press against Morocco. This is obviously Uruguay is a different opponent. How is the execution and how's it working against this team?
It's a pretty straightforward press. Part of that is because Uruguay's in a back three, so it looks like the front three are just everyone's taking it at one of the center backs. What's getting the U.S. in trouble is on our left side, Uruguay's right side. For fullback, pressing a wing back is always a little bit weird, right? Because you don't know how far up you have to push, and so I think Scally keeps getting lost, and then when they suck him inside with Varela's positioning, that actually is opening up that entire flank. So for the most part, the first phase of the press is really good. But then once it gets to that second level, they haven't quite figured things out. It's almost a good thing because the U.S. has not played against a lot of teams that play like a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-2-1. But they're going to face, I think, probably two teams in the group stage that play this formation, England and Iran. Okay. So like it's actually good for them to get reps in this situation so that I think Greg will have film to show these guys, especially the fullbacks, and say like, hey, here's what we can't do. And then the other thing is like with the midfielders, like if you have a guy pinned against the sideline, you can't make it easy for him to get away from that and hit a big switch that just opens you up. And it's already happened, I think, 4 times in this first half. It happened a bunch in that first half against Morocco as well. And sorting that out is a really, really high importance thing for Berhalter and that midfield. Because you actually played a lot of fullback for the U.S., but you played, I think for a long time, you played primarily more as a wingback for your clubs, including Pachuca, I think a lot of wingback when you were down there. The difference in terms of defense, what's that? Puebla.
Puebla, yeah.
That's my bad. But like the difference in terms of your defensive responsibilities, especially when pressing, it's pretty pronounced, I imagine.
Yeah, it is, and to be honest, it depends on the coach. I've had coaches where it was more literally a wing back, and I didn't have to, be that fourth defender when our, the right wing back went forward. And other times I was literally we played a back five. So it kind of all depends on your positioning, the way the coach sees, how they want to play, more defensive, more attack minded. But yeah, it is that kind of, okay, do I press? Do I go higher? Do I stay back? How much space am I leaving? Is everyone on the same page? Are we shifting correctly? So yeah, you're right. All that stuff is definitely thought about on the fly. But I only started playing wingback until when I got to Mexico.
Because otherwise, you were in a left.
I was still a midfielder back. Yeah, before I was still a midfielder then. Yeah, it took me a while to actually enjoy that position. I'll tell you that.
I believe it.
How long? How long did it take you?
I
I
mean,
want to know. I want
it
details.
took probably a good year, to be honest. Even when
Really?
I started with the left, but yeah, for sure.
Why? What was the most difficult hurdle to overcome in that?
For me, it was the learn the position.
Yeah.
Just learning, when to step. How do I go forward? How can I attack? That for me was the biggest, because I wasn't a really a tackler and really trying to, like Ashley Cole, like he was hard, he was tough, so
Yeah.
I was more a guy that could read the game, position myself to win balls, and
you had that sneaky toe poke. Oh
yeah, and the game came to me.
Annoyed me more than that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love a sneaky toe poke.
you're like you think you got him like posted up and you're good, and he just sneaks in his little foot.
Yeah,
Got that quick toe poke.
Let's go.
But wasn't it Bob that first tried you out there?
Yeah, he tried the game against Trinidad. And I did okay, but he even told me, he's like, yeah, just in a pinch, we'll put you at left back, because in some games in Chicago back in the 2000s, I would play a wing back.
Right.
Sometimes when Diego Gutierrez couldn't play, I would play that position. So, I learned it a little bit. And I remember Bob telling me, he's like, look, if you're gonna play for my team, you're gonna have to play both sides of the ball. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came as a winger, as a guy that just wanted to dribble and dribble and dribble, and he's like, that's not going to work here. You got to learn how to play football, learn how to play the ball on the ground, and blah blah blah. And so, Bob is kind of the first to kind of get that two-way type player in my mind.
Interesting.
Did you agree with him at the time?
I mean, I did, because I was 17 years old, so I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And plus getting kicked all the time from Tommy Sohn and Lubos Kubek and Stoichkov and Novak and all those guys.
Oh boy.
It got tiresome in training. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to learn how to give up the ball and pass. And that's why I always loved, me, Charlie, I was a passer. I love passing.
Yeah.
I love just making things easy, for my teammates or even for myself. So
We got a question for you, Bees, from Foxo Gaming. Said, who is your favorite team that you played on, country or league-wise? And we need the year as well.
Favorite team I played on, country or year? I would say the 2002 team.
Okay.
I think that was probably my favorite. And because, obviously myself and Landon were the two young guns, so we did we did a lot of things together and hung out a lot. But just everyone talks about it. I'm not gonna go too much into it, because it is the anniversary of us.
Yeah, 20 years.
I think 20 years or something like that. And everyone's heard all the stories about how our group was, and it was special. Going to training every day, learning from those guys, and it was a real brotherhood, for real. I remember times when
a mix.
What's up?
I talk about a mix of old and young.
Yeah.
The OGs,
we had the OGs, we had the Wolfies coming in, starting at that 24 age range, and then you had the young guns. So I mean, it was just a huge mix of players and experience and personalities, but I mean, it just fit. It all fit, and obviously that showed in our World Cup run.
I mean, you can share some of those stories if you want. I'm sure some of these people don't know the stories; they're not privy to it. So, if you feel like this is a safe space for you, we'd love to.
Maybe later.
What was your favorite club year? What
my
club
favorite
team?
club year?
Yeah,
I won't say my favorite club team, because I mean, that's tough to say. I said I didn't say one.
Oh.
But I would say
PSV for sure.
Yeah, I would say my first year at PSV, just the club year, not saying that's my favorite club, but club year, that year, and my first year that I went to Puebla that year. Those two are probably my favorite 2 years of playing football.
What do we got?
Whew. Oh,
what are we reacting to? This is stressing me out. Here we go. Now
you got bailed out.
Yeah.
Absolutely bailed out. Who played that ball to Zimmerman?
I don't know. It
I
took
didn't
such
see
a
it
weird
either.
hop, and obviously it fooled Zimmerman.
Sean's pissed. I like it.
Yeah, today is the exact 20-year anniversary of that win over Portugal, Bees. So,
Yeah, I saw something on,
Is it
on Twitter
really?
about it. Yeah, I saw something about it.
What? We should have cracked the champagne out. Like, come on.
cracked a
should be
little
a
Vino
party.
Verde, drank to the
Yes.
point, right?
Yes.
That own goal.
I would open some port, but it'll just make me fall asleep. That's not good. I love that stuff, but ooh, it's strong. We got a question from Caleb Saylor, and I think Doyle, you kind of alluded to this, but this is a good question. How similar is this Uruguay team to any of the teams in our World Cup group for the U.S.?
I mean, honestly, they're probably most similar to England, just in terms of the quality and the shape that they're playing today. But they're not super similar, I think, to any of them really, just in terms of their overall style of play. Uruguay, they're chameleons. When they're playing a team that they feel like they're on the front foot against, they'll just grab all the possession, and they have so much quality in attack, they'll ram it down your throat. But against bigger teams, they are completely happy to defend in their goalkeeper's lap. Like, I don't, there's not a lot of teams that can do it better than they do. And so in one sense, it's like England, and in the other sense, in the terms of like comfortably defending deep, that's what Iran does. But it's like you have to pick and choose. Well, they're like Iran a little bit this way, they're like England a little bit this way, and that sort of thing. But just in terms of overall quality, England is the only team in the U.S. group that is at Uruguay's level.
Okay.
And I would say, Godin was central to Atletico Madrid for so many years. And when you play for a coach like Diego Simeone, you understand how to defend. You understand shape and put, blocks. So I feel like Uruguay have played in that same exact manner as Atletico Madrid when they're going to defend, and they know exactly how to counter and how to capitalize, especially in the World Cup.
What is their biggest strength? What is Uruguay's biggest strength as a team?
I'd say they have quality all over the pitch. I mean, you have Cavani, who's obviously on the older side, but he's proven. You saw his 2 goals against Mexico in the friendly. He's still got it. But Darwin Nunez is the young up-and-coming rising star. He banged, 26 goals in the league, and then he scored another 10 goals in Champions League. 2 against Liverpool, 2 against Barca, a goal against Bayern, and a goal against Ajax. So, I mean, he's legit. There's nothing, easy about defending a player like him. And he's had his chances too. Obviously not sharp right now, but those, you have players like that. And then, Lucas Torreira, who had a very strong season in Serie A for Fiorentina. You have on each layer players who are doing it, who are playing at a high level. So I think this team has a bunch of talent, both on the older side, experience side, which makes them difficult to play against. We saw Costa Rica in World Cup qualifying. They're all, dinosaurs in the terms of footballers, but they understand how to grind out results. And they had this incredible surge in the second half of World Cup qualifying, just based on defensive principles and being good on set pieces and countering. And you have Keylor Navas in goal, and it gives you a real opportunity. So you add a lot more quality, and that's what you have in Uruguay. I mean, their keeper Muslera is not the same quality as Keylor Navas, but they are a strong team, and this is really their second team right now. So,
do you think Suarez makes the World Cup?
Ooh,
I mean, because I know you know a lot about the Uruguay team, so I'm not too familiar with them. So I'm just asking. So, in your opinion, do you think he makes the squad or no?
I don't think so.
I know he didn't play as especially towards the end of the season, he didn't play much at Atletico. So
I got a chance to watch him play live, and he doesn't run the same. Like I feel like there's something off with his gait. He doesn't have that same burst the first like 3-4 yards, the quickness, it wasn't there. And then over 20, 25 yards, he's lost a good 2 steps. And a player like him who's just so quick with his swiveling of his hips, it's like he didn't have that. So I'm not surprised that he's really not that involved.
Here's a question on the flip side of this. So if you are England, if you're Wales, if you're Iran, how are you preparing for the US? How are they viewed, in the global soccer spectrum? What are you preparing for when you face this US team?
I think for England, we're not focused on the US. We know that if we play our game, we don't have to focus. And we've all been there, Bees, when we were playing Trinidad and Tobago, or no disrespect to some of these CONCACAF teams, El Salvador, but you're not focused on what they do. You just know, okay, this is the player who they play through. This is typically how they're going to play. But for 90 minutes, the majority of what they're going to do is defend, right? So just be smart. Don't make those mistakes. Don't play those square balls. Other than that, just be creative and press. I think England are going to go after us. I think they're going to press. Mm-hmm. And they know that Christian Pulisic is central to us. And it's, he's played with some of those guys. He plays against those guys every week. So they know exactly how he likes to play, his tendencies. So that's one area of the game where either Christian has to rise above, or a lot of his play is going to be, I gotta make the play for the next guy because they're going to focus on me. I'm going to draw two guys. I got to find the open runner. And I think that's how the U.S. is going to have to get at them, and also be super dialed in on set pieces.
All right. Well, it is officially scoreless at halftime after 45 minutes and some change. And guys, I'm looking at both the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat right now. Thanks everybody for sending in your questions and comments. Keep it coming. But Joe Scally is not impressing, to say the least. I won't direct quote some of these, but what are your impressions? DaMarcus, I want to start with you on this.
I always look at, for me, is how he is positionally on the field, because I think for me that's one of the biggest things and most important things as an outside back to have, is to make sure you're positioned right with your left center back, with your midfielder, with your number 8 or 6, however the formation is playing. And right now his position, it hasn't been great. He's been caught inside a bit. He's been caught up the field. You got Christian playing left back at times. They need to fix that. And he hasn't been okay with the ball. He had a great tackle to lead to the chance in the towards the middle of the first half. But I think the times when he had to be better as far as in the right position at the right time, I think he's kind of dropped the ball on that. It hasn't been his strongest performance that he was probably looking for in the first 45 minutes. Because I think those two things, or two or three of those things, could have been an improvement, and it could have said that he had a strong first half. But since those 2 or 3 things that I mentioned before didn't happen, it didn't make him look great.
Doyle, your thoughts on Scally?
On Scally, I mean, I'll just echo what B said. He struggled. He looked like a kid, playing in one of his first couple of games, and doing so against a very, 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 very good team. And the other thing to bear in mind, Scally played mostly as a wingback for Borussia Mönchengladbach, right? He didn't play in a flat back 4, and in this, he's playing in a flat back 4 as a overlapping fullback, and it's just different. And doing it against a team that's playing with wing backs. It's just very different, and I think it's just been too much information for him to process. So he's struggled. He's been a step behind it, but like that happens with young players, right? Nobody's given up on him. He didn't. He certainly has not moved himself any closer to to being on that flight to Qatar. But like, I don't think anybody should give up on Joe Scally long term. Just hope that he can learn from this, and the next time out, whether it's in these Nation League games or maybe his next game out will actually be with Borussia Mönchengladbach when the Bundesliga season opens in 2 months. Hopefully, he'll be able to apply what he's learned tonight to that game and come out of it a better player. And look, we've seen it we saw it in 2002 with Beasley. Young players can get a lot better really quick. Like 6 months when you're 19 years old, that's a big chunk of your career right there.
Yeah.
So the improvement curve can
end
up being exponential. But he did not do himself any favors in that first 45. He will be on the field in the second half. Berhalter announced at the halftime there's going to be 3 subs. Eric Palmer-Brown is coming in. I assume that'll be for Walker Zimmerman, but we'll see. Paul Areola's coming in for Timmy Waya, and Brendan Aronson is coming in for Weston McKennie, who was pretty anonymous, I thought, but that's fine. It's 45 minutes back.
Yeah, just get him out there.
That's all I wanted to see.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, some people calling for they want to see Haji making an appearance in this. How would you feel?
Yeah.
How would you feel about that move should it happen, Charlie?
Say yes, please. I think we've all seen enough of Jesus Ferreira in terms of we know what he can do.
Yeah.
I think we've seen just how he makes his runs, how he looks to combine, how he lacks hold up play. I in terms of the ball being played to his chest or an aerial ball, there's a center back coming on his back. How does he hold it up? Usually he's lost it. It hasn't been too strong.
Okay.
So I think if I'm looking at this U.S. men's national team and I'm looking at the forward attack, and sometimes you have to play those balls to your center forward, he has to hold it up. It's going to be crucial to then bring that ball into the final third through your wingers, Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah. That ball back to the midfielder, it needs to be on point. And I think that Haji Wright offers that. I think he's a better suited to be that hold-up number 9 at times when we need it. It's not just about creating space for Christian Pulisic and Timothy Weah by checking deep. You have to be multidimensional. It can't be just, one-dimensional. I'm only going to excel in this area, because the national team needs way more than that, especially in a World Cup. So if Jesus Ferreira was just doing that, but he was scoring goals on the opposite end, you'd say, okay, hands up, you're doing your job.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been doing that. So Haji Wright, we talk about promise. Let's see that man some more. That's what I got to say. I want to see what he looks like against the same Uruguay back line.
Tactically, do you think Greg Berhalter is going to make any changes, Doyle, in the second half? I mean,
I think it'll be the same formation. I one thing that I noticed right at the end there, they changed their pressing trigger a little bit. And remember, I was saying it's 3 center backs, so they were just having the front 3 each press a center back. Well, Weston actually shot out of the midfield, and he was pressing the center back, and then Christian dropped back to take the strong Varela, the right wing back for Uruguay. And that forced a turnover. Now, the U.S., they weren't sharp enough in the final third to turn it into anything. But that was interesting for me to see. So one tactical switch I could see them making, like if you're bringing Brendan Aronson on, who's one of the great pressing players in the world, for Weston McKennie, who has clearly not match fit, you're probably going to ask Brendan Aronson to press more. So I'm wondering if that late sort of pressing, like difference in pressing trigger, is going to be something that we'll see in the second half, because like it makes sense to weaponize Brendan Aronson in that way. Like he'll press more than anybody on the team, let him at it, drop Christian back so he's picking up the ball in midfield more, you're exposing Scally less, and then maybe that allows you to combine and like walk the ball into the net at some point, as opposed to all the just miss, which was the story of the first half.
Okay, who were your MVPs in that first 45, DaMarcus? Who played well? Who was solid? Anybody?
I thought Waya was okay. I thought, obviously he got a lot of space on that right side. He took a couple shots, put some decent crosses, some dangerous crosses in the face of the goal. If I had to pick one, the performance wasn't an MVP. One guy stood out, more so than anyone. Yeah. So just if I had to pick one, just because of Waya, he looks like he was confident going at his defender one-on-one. He combined well with Yedlin at times down the right side. So if I had to pick one guy, for the question, I would say Waya.
Waya, okay. Charlie,
anybody? Yeah, I'm with him. The back line certainly is not getting any nods for that. Sean Johnson had some shaky moments with the ball at his feet. Tyler Adams, I thought, was pretty solid, but there were times where he was level with McKinney and Musa. 3 flat across the midfield. Mm-hmm. You can't do that. One ball beats 3 midfielders. So Tyler Adams, as much as you want to get forward and be aggressive, because he has that tendency to just want to just go and ball hunt, you have to be composed. Let Musa and McKinney be in front of you, and you protect the back line, especially with Darwin Nunez and Gomez playing up top. So Christian had some moments, but I don't think he was clean. I don't think he was clean enough. There's one time where he anticipated a ball to the box and then went down. And Jesus Ferreira lost the ball his first 4 touches. So Tim Waya, I think from that standpoint, has to be the man of the match if you're picking one.
And just one before just with the I know we're kind of harping on and Jesus a bit because for one he didn't score, and Charlie mentioned that he lost the ball a couple times in the first half. But even if you look at the ball that Christian gave him on the shot that he took, like that first touch was that's clean as well. If you look at the replay, like that first touch got kind of in between his foot, and he had to take another touch to get the shot off. If he would have took that right foot like he usually does in MLS, take it with his right foot, he would have had a better. I think the angle would have been better, and it wouldn't have been so caught his foot, and he would have slot that ball, far post. So maybe that's just showing that in his head. Everything what Charlie was saying at the beginning. He has that pressure. He's putting that pressure on himself. It's not coming. There's always pressure from the media, from I'm sure from Berhalter a bit. From the fans, but he's putting that pressure on himself. So if he just relaxes and plays the way he knows how to play, that ball that Christian played him, that chance he got, that should have been a goal.
So what's Greg Berhalter saying to the team at the half? What's the message?
The message is it's we're 0-0, but it's gotta be better. Now that Brent Aronson's coming in, Doyle touched on it. He's phenomenal at the press, and he's going to be pushing guys. Now, the only way this backfires is if people are late on the press and you get broken down. Uruguay has those players that can break you down. If you're late for an assignment, the ball's out, and next thing you know, one pass splits 6 guys, and it's a 3v2 or a 3v3, 4v3. So I would expect the first 10 to 15 minutes for the U.S. to be aggressive. Paul Arriola, again, another guy who's trying to, prove his point that he should be in this World Cup, and also not only be on the roster, but try and get some time, be that super sub. So I expect him to be ultra aggressive in the press and be on the front foot and try and get in behind.
I like that. Okay, so what would you say are the positions that are locked up for Greg Berhalter when he's looking at the roster that he's going to send to Qatar? What are the players that are like, yep, book your ticket? And then what are the positions that are there's still some question marks? There's still guys kind of like fighting for those positions. What do you think?
I think the only 2 where it's a question of who the starter is going to be if everybody's healthy are center forward and center back, right? And it's, like we know that, well, I guess right wing, because like if Gio Reyna's healthy, he might start over Tim Waya, but that's I don't know. That's like further down the list. It's more like, okay, is it going to be Jesus Ferreira, or is it going to be Haji Wright, or is it going to be someone else who's going to start as the number 9? And then in center back, it's going to be like, okay, is Chris Richards going to be healthy and playing? Because if so, I think he'll probably be the starter next to Walker. Or, it looks like Aaron Long has a bit of an advantage over Carter Vickers and Palmer Brown. I think those are the only 2 real choices. I think at this point, Zach Steffen got he got a lot of chances. Zach Steffen's not had a good game in a long time, whereas like Matt Turner just keeps being solid. So I think Matt Turner's pretty clearly the number 1 for the U.S. So it really does come down to number 9 and center back. But the thing to remember is like you need more than 11 guys when you're at the World Cup, man. You got to have up to 20 guys probably that you trust if you're gonna make a deep run.
Helpful. Aaron Long, I'm curious to get your take on him, because it seems like Greg has all the confidence in the world in this guy pairing up next to Walker Zimmerman. We've seen him the last 2 games. How are you feeling about his performance and that center back pairing? Does this feel? I mean, like, I know you're like, that's not solidified, but like, what have you seen from Aaron Long? Can he still? Is there room for him to still kind of nail this thing down?
Go ahead, Bees.
Oh, I thought it was to Doyle. Sorry.
Whoever. Anyone.
I think there's still time to solidify, and I think it's showing him that the Berhalter has a confidence that yes, you got injured, is a horrific injury, but you still played at a level, or you're playing at a level where you could help the national team. And then I look at it on the flip side and say the other center backs haven't done enough to solidify that spot by next to Walker, because you got a guy that's had a really bad injury. Obviously he's playing, he's back playing, he's playing well, but he's just walking himself right back into the national team.
Yep.
Where are the other center backs that's I know Chris Richards got injured as well, but what are the other center backs that actually stepped up and said, okay, look, this is my chance to stake my claim, and I want to take this position. No one really has. So he didn't really have a choice but to bring back Aaron Long, and Aaron Long hasn't really put a foot wrong. He's
doing
a solid
enough.
center back.
Do you think
he's doing enough to to play? So I just don't. I think I look at him on the other side as well, that there hasn't been another center back to actually take that position. That's why Aaron Long's back.
If Miles Robinson was healthy, was that the sure thing to lock up? Was there any chance that Aaron Long was going to come in and disrupt that pairing?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. Not at all. Not the way that they were playing. I mean, both center backs were playing really, really well. I think whoever would have came in, if it would have been Aaron, if it, obviously Chris Richards, I'm sure will probably go if he's healthy. There would have been backups. Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman were playing really well together.
All right, second half just about to kick off. It just kicked off for me. I don't know where y'all are at.
Yeah,
I'm already.
I'm
already
15.
behind.
I'm 15 seconds in. 17, 20, 19. I won't count. I'm not doing a countdown again.
It looks like Palmer Brown came in for Long. He's playing next to Walker. Yeah.
And Paul Areola in for McKennie. Is that correct?
Aronson's in for McKennie. Ariola's in for Waya.
Got it.
And this is interesting because implicit, I think, in this is that, like, okay, Ariel is ahead of Jordan Morris on the depth chart now, which I don't think is wrong given the way Ariola has played for FC Dallas this year. I think he's been better than Jordan Morris, though, of course, Jordan Morris I don't think is 100% yet. So.
See that ball right there? When Ariola plays it across, a striker that's in sync with that player checks out and then cuts in front of Coates right there, instead of letting it just roll right into Coates and you're just continue to stay on the back shoulder.
Guys, Taquito wants to say hi to Charlie.
Taquito's my boy.
Honestly, deserves more screen time.
He believes
by far the best looking of all of us. I feel like is Taquito like a good luck charm? Like, when he makes an appearance, do good things happen?
It's just he makes an apprance every show, man. He's just a camera hog. That's all he is. There's nothing lucky about this cat.
Darn it.
Nothing.
I thought we could make him like an unofficial U.S. men's national team mascot. I feel like that would be the move.
Not a bad ball.
No, not at all.
Oh, I thought that was a good ball.
It was.
So good ball, but nobody on the end of it. Just to see if
it wasn't pressure getting high.
It was too far in front.
So, Bees, question for you. When we think about the roster that Greg Berhalter will send to Qatar, there's always, it feels like there's always some guys that are capable of coming off the bench and being like game changers. Mm-hmm. You know, like they're the guys that just kind of seize the moment, can come in, make things happen. Who do you think has the potential to play that role for the U.S.?
Like a surprise call?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it comes. I mean, it's. I think it comes from someone that's not on this roster.
Not here right now.
Not here right now.
Not in camp. Okay.
Not in camp. You know, you look at. You know, we always talk about the number 9 position, but you know, a guy like what's the guy's name from Cincinnati that's scoring at the moment?
Vasquez.
Yeah, Vasquez. You know, there's not a crazy shout that he could, you know, find his way on this roster. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, the way that, you know, our number 9s aren't really, you know, solidifying anything as far as like who's going to not even start, but just be on the roster. Mm-hmm. I think you look at someone like that. You know, I think that could be a surprise addition, you know, when in September or October, whenever he announces the roster.
I feel like if Daryl DK gets healthy again and starts scoring again, he's a big one because he's obviously a good soccer player in a lot of ways, mm-hmm. but he's just such a matchup physically. Like if we're in a situation where we're, you know, end of the game, we're throwing the kitchen sink in there, like Daryl DK helps you a lot in that situation just by occupying defenders. Because when you're doing that, you're going to get a ton of set pieces. You get another, you know, a big guy out there like that. Suddenly, maybe it frees up Walker or frees up Chris Richards or Aaron Long if they're out there as well. So like DK is a guy who's kind of really fallen off the radar, I think, for a lot of people. But he's a good soccer player, man. And it's not out of the question that he comes out, you know, first 8 games next year, scores 6 goals and has 2 assists and draws a penalty, something like that. And he's right back in the picture.
I'm here for that.
Always on brand, Suze.
Listen.
Oh, Paul, come on, play it.
Man.
The other thing is that I think just with the way the team's constructed, one of Gio Reyna or Tim Waya is coming off the bench. And most likely Brendan Aronson is coming off the bench. Like, those are going to be the game changers. Those are going to be the change of pace subs. And hopefully, you know, they'll be the subs that Berhalter can use to lock down a win rather than come from behind.
Yeah. We got a question from Garth Gasper. Wants to know about Luca Della Torre. Does he figure in into any of this.
Not as a starter.
No.
I think he's Moose's backup, right?
Okay.
Just like plug and play, like for like. He's not going to get you goals and assists, but he'll get the ball forward, and he's not afraid of getting on it in tough spots. I like him a lot, but
I think he's on the plane.
He's
yeah,
on
for
the
sure.
phone. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
See
I think
Ferreira, see Ferreira, right there. It's got to be a one-touch pass back to the midfielder.
You think he's just overthinking at this point, Charlie?
Yes. The first couple of touches when they weren't there, and you lose the ball, the head goes down. You start thinking about, okay, I got to make up for it. I've been there before. Every play, you're like, oh, I messed up there. Like I got to make up for it. I got to do a little bit more. Then that plays into, being overzealous in a lot of cases. It's just not. It's not his day at the moment. I mean, but he hasn't given up. He's still working, but he's lost. Like that ball, Tyler Adams plays to his feet. It's a slow roller into his foot. It's a simple ball, and it's a simple decision. You play back one touch to your midfielder. I think it was Weston that was sitting there. Instead, he gets bumped, and he tries to take a touch, and he loses it.
Brendan Aronson is out there tackling everything.
I love it. I love it. He's a maniac.
Yes.
He's a maniac.
That's
He's
the
ready.
Brem Brem.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
go.
ready for leads.
It's great.
They're gonna love him there, though.
Oh,
so.
yeah, because he's just so crazy.
Yeah,
Moving.
yeah, he's energetic. And he obviously he's very talented as well. But yeah, his energy. You get those when you get that, and then compare that with his pair it with his ability to play football. Man, yeah, they're gonna love him in England.
Just a reminder for everybody, we are going to be back for another watch along on next Thursday, Canada taking on Curacao in Nations League competition. That is at 10:30 p.m. So you can join us right back here. We're doing the same thing. Gotta love it. We got a question from Greg. This is good. Is Waya at striker realistic? What do we think? If we're having this discussion, what do we?
I would say it's not realistic if we go through these next two matches in Nations League, and he doesn't get a minute playing at the 9. Then I'd say it's not realistic.
Okay.
But I think, given the limited options, that he should get a run there, and that's a way to get him on the pitch and Brandon Aronson on the pitch, or Gio Reyna.
Oof.
So if you're thinking about players who are in form, who are doing well, that's one way to do it. Oh.
Woo!
Okay, so to your question that you asked Susannah before, so this is a question for everyone. So we talked about who could be made, who could maybe be a surprise, or who we think that could be that super sub coming off the bench, or in that aspect. But who do we think that is going to be disappointed? Like someone that is going to be surprised that does not make this roster. That you're like, okay, you know what? We thought they were in, they're out. Who could that be? In your opinion?
I really want Christian Roldan to be on this roster, and I think he.
You want
might
who?
not. Christian Roldan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he might get left off, and that hurts my heart because I love him, and I think he's having such an incredible season. Yeah, that's one.
Roldan, Morris is another one. Staying with the Sounders theme, I could see DeAndre being that guy because
that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that would be a surprise. Yeah, I think he's going, but that's what I'm saying. Like that would be my surprise if he did not make the roster. Yeah, that was going to be mine, and I can see it happening. But
I think Christian is going to could be the surprise.
Oh, he missed.
Whoa. Oh man.
6s and 7s.
Yeah, so you know what? And I know it's probably easy to say it now, but when you asked a question earlier, what is something that these other teams are looking to exploit against the U.S. team?
Yeah.
I think their transition, they're from attacking to defending. I think
That's
they're
where
very
Miles is
vulnerable.
missed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're very vulnerable on the counterattack against them. I know that was just a play that just happened, but I was going to answer that question, and then you went on to something else. But that's what I was going to say.
Thanks for circling back.
Yeah,
Marcus. That's good. You're paying attention. No, that's great. That's great. What is Doyle? I heard you say Miles. They missed Miles. Why was he a difference maker in that regard?
He's just so good in the open field. I think you could take more risks on the ball in midfield if you have Miles back there with his speed, with his balance. He reads the game really well, and that's one of the things with Eric Palmer-Brown is like as gifted as he is in a lot of ways. He reads the game really slowly defensively coming out of midfield. So he doesn't sort of provide that security blanket aspect in transition. Whereas like Miles, like that was his strong suit as a center back. So I think that is one area where they miss him a lot. And in general, I think I agree with Bees. Like the U.S., the scouting report I would have on the U.S. is that they're going to try to play through central midfield. And sometimes they could be devastating, but they make themselves vulnerable when they do it. And that is where you can get at them. And that's why a team like Wales, who's not going to take any risks and has, two guys in Bale and James, who is it James or Jones, the other forward who can really run.
It's got to be Jones.
Jones.
James,
yeah,
Jones. I don't know. Jones is just such a Welsh name.
Yeah. They can just absolutely annihilate you in transition.
I mean, you always need someone on your squad to be able to put out fires, always, because there's going to be mistakes. That's football. It's going to football is a game of mistakes. So you always need someone in the center back position, obviously that number 6 position, to be able to put out fires. And to Doyle's point, Miles was that guy to do that, and he did it at a very, very high level. And so they're going to miss that for sure.
DaMarcus, when you think about the teams that you played on, the teams that emerged from the group of death, against all odds, maybe they weren't, it was unlikely for them. But what was the sort of intangible thing that those teams had that allowed them to advance, to keep on playing, to get those results? Is there something that's just kind of like, it's just, I don't know, nondescript, like, is it a attitude? What is it?
What did you say, Charlie?
I said, oh boy, Edison, Cavani, and Nunez playing up top together right now.
Hey-o!
Put them in. Charlie, you got your wish. Wright's coming in. Haji's coming in. I would say the PC answer to your question is just the American spirit. I think
I didn't ask for the PC answer.
Yeah.
Did I? No, I did not.
You did not. Yeah, I mean, it's I think all American teams have that that ability to not give up on in games, I would say. But obviously, you need some luck to go your way. But to compare each time that we went to the second round or to the knockout stage and what made us, or what was something that got us there. I can't put it as to one thing because every team was different.
No, it's fair.
So that's a tough one. I wish I had a better answer for you.
No, it's hard. It's a tough one. Again, it's just like these sort of like intangible things that we can't really nail down. It looks like Haji Wright will be making an appearance in this match. We've got a poll question up for you guys. Who would you pick right now as your U.S. men's national team starting number 9? Jesus Ferreira, Ricardo Pepi, Haji Wright, or somebody else?
At this moment, I would say at this moment we haven't seen enough of Haji Wright to say he would be the starter. I'd rather play Timothy Waya there.
What about Pepi? What about Ricardo Pepi? Like, you know, like what?
A striker with no confidence.
But like, is there time? Is there time for him?
Yeah, of course. There's definitely time for him.
Yeah,
he has a whole half season.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
He has a preseason to get going and a half season, but you can't take a striker with no confidence.
Yeah. Man. Is that what it is, Charlie, for him? Is it confidence?
Yeah,
what a save.
What a save. What
a save. Go, Sean. Wow. Go, Sean.
Oh.
But I tell you, that's probably been the worst 3 minutes of Scally's national team career.
Okay, so this is not.
he gave up the ball right before that.
Best for sure.
And you know, I'm a guy. I don't like to, you know, always be negative on different players, but
yeah,
I mean, he's having a tough game right now.
Okay, so you're having a tough game. How do you
What's that? What'd you say?
You emphasized that tough. You said,
yeah, it's a tough game. Yeah, he's having a tough game. He's having a tough.
So what do you do after a game like this if you're Joe Scally? You know, like what are you telling yourself?
You watch tape.
Yeah.
You try and work yourself like to death in terms of trying to make up for this. You get into you got the Nations League games, but then you get into preseason, you just work. You just say, I got to work my way back into the conversation with my club form.
He has to stay confident. He can't. Yeah. That's the thing. That's it all for me. Like, everyone has a bad game. There's not one person in the planet that has a good game every single time they step on the pitch. He has to stay confident. He has to, stick with what he does, stick to what he knows, and and learn from this performance. That's it. But he can't lose his confidence in, oh man, I had a bad game. What are my teammates going to think? The fans don't like me. No, like, you're here for a reason. You're playing for the national team for a reason. So keep that in your head. Still stay strong. Still stay confident in your ability to play football. And the next game, you just can't have 2 bad games in a row. That's all it is. Like, you can't. After that, it's a wrap.
Is that the kiss of death? 2 bad games in a row?
Yeah, at this level. At this point. Yeah, at this level. I mean, you look at the forward situation. You get 2 games and it's a wrap. I mean, you look at any teams around the world that have. I just go for Man City because I watch them all the time. Sterling, he was having a great season mid-season. He was scoring, assisting every single match. He doesn't score 2 games, he's out. That's just what it is. And I'm not comparing Man City to the national team, but it's just that mentality that you have to perform when you're given the opportunity.
Yeah. All right, we have a question from Scott Utterson. He wants to know who makes the roster as the number 4 and number 5 center backs on this team.
That's a good question. So if it's a 23-man roster, there's no guarantee there will be a 5th center back. I think it'll be a 26-man roster.
When is that going to be decided? If it's 23 or 26, do we know when that's?
I don't know.
Confirmed?
It's FIFA Suze. Like they can announce it 15 minutes before the first match. But everybody's acting like it's going to be 26, so I think it's fair to assume that it'll be 26. To me, if it's Zimmerman, Richards, and Long as the top 3. I think 4 is going to be either Carter Vickers or Palmer Brown. Flip a coin. And then I think for 5, you actually take James Sands, who's a different type of center back. He can actually give you he's more natural playing in the middle of the back 5, right? So if you want to go with a center back who can help you change your shape, plus he also goes there as your 3rd string D mid and like your fourth string right back, which he played in the Europa League final. So like he actually gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of position, even though he's not necessarily a plug and play center back in a back four. But because you already have four of those guys, you don't really need that. I think you would want the flexibility. So I think either Palmer Brown or Carter Vickers at this point, and then Sands as the fifth string guy.
Okay.
But I'm not just saying that because Bees played at Rangers, which where Sands is now.
So,
I'm not just giving up, you know.
So I have a question. I have a question for you. So if you think Sands could be that fifth, you know, that center back, and obviously the third string six, and can't Kellen do that? Acosta.
I have Kellen as a backup.
I don't think they need to bring another backup, you know, utility man, and because they have that in Kellen. Kellen can play every position across the back line. He can play as a number 6. He's going to play in the World Cup, but if we need to hold a goal, he's going to come in and match and play. So I don't think they need, you know, another utility guy as far as, you know, that aspect.
So I disagree in the sense that Kellen's first job there is to be the backup to Tyler. He is number 2 on the 6 depth chart, and like anything else that falls on his plate pales in importance compared to that. And I think back to 2002, right? Like if you guys had gotten past Germany, Pablo was out for the next game. He was, I think, yellow card accumulation. O'Brien was out for the yellow. So there was no third string defensive midfielder. You would have been playing D-mid in the semifinals at that point. You know, so I just think in terms of like making sure you have enough padding at those crucial positions, and with the way the U.S. roster is set up, Tyler is the first string D-mid, Kellen is a second string D-mid, and there's literally nobody else on that roster who plays any defensive midfield for their clubs. So that's why I think, like, that's why I would go with Sands ahead of maybe some other choices.
All right, you make a good point.
Well, it looks like we did Diego Rossi come into this game?
He did.
He did.
Look at that.
He's going against Scally.
So have the U.S., in your estimation, has the U.S. looked about the same? Have they looked better in this the second half? Where are we at right now?
I think the intensity has dropped off a bit.
Yeah, feels like it.
Yeah, I think obviously because all the subs, you know, you got that many subs, that much, you know, turnover. You know, guys are trying to get into the game. Now it's kind of starting to feel like a friendly. You know, I think the first half was good. You know, I think both teams tried to, you know, attack. They tried to, you know, put their still in the game and try to, you know, go and attack and win the match. But now it's just more about, you know, just playing the ball around, make sure no one gets injured. Because I mean, the intensity level just kind of dropped a bit on both sides.
Mm-hmm. We got a question from Rael Squidward. Hi, hello, thank you. What will be the plan for marking Bale, and where on the field will he line up in this game against Wales, their opener?
Old school, 1-on-1. Old school.
1v1.
1v1, old school.
1v1.
1v1. Yep.
Let's
Tyler
go.
Adam. Mark him out the game. There we go. Back to your youth, back to your youth game. No, I'm kidding. I'll let Doyle steal this one. Go ahead.
I think they'll play a 2 up top, but like neither, you know, Bale's not a real center forward, right? So he's going to make like delayed runs. His whole thing is like he tries to drift into spots where it doesn't make sense to mark him, right? And then he starts his run, and he's so good in those moments, and he's such just a dominant athlete that it's like you're always playing catch up. So the way to mark Bale is to not turn the ball over in bad spots where you could let him get into the open field. Like it has to be just a team-wide commitment to making sure that you're playing the game the right way and the structure's good and all that.
Yeah, I just think whenever we had players that could, and Charlie, you could probably attest to this as well. Whenever we played against players that, had something special, a little bit different, that could, win a game on their own, you always had someone that kind of made sure they knew where he was at all times.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you man marking him, but, you have an eye out. Okay, he plays like that, and that kind of like front, maybe 2 or 3, and he kind of drifts and he's on the right side, and he doesn't really defend, doesn't get back. So you always have an eye of where he is at all times on the field. You have to, but I think that's always, I don't know whose job that's going to be. If that's going to be, Tyler, if that's going to be one of our center backs kind of stepping up in that, to put pressure on him when he, tries to get the ball, because I do expect us to have a lot of the ball against Wales. So I just think we always got to have an eye on where he is on the pitch. That's all.
All right, our guy Greg, looking ahead to Nations League. This is a great question. Greg wants to know, how will Berhalter approach the Nations League games from a rotation perspective? Are we going to see something similar to these friendlies? Is he going to mix it up? What are your thoughts on what this will look like for the U.S.? Charlie, Doyle, anybody?
I think you try and utilize this window like it's a World Cup. And you try and push these guys. Try and give it as close as you can as World Cup simulation in terms of group stage. Maybe if guys are feeling tired, you make adjustments, but you want to build the chemistry within the group too. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are a similar 11 the next couple of games.
I disagree. I think.
What do you think?
I think
Please.
it's. I mean, these guys have played so many matches throughout the whole year. Yeah. I don't think playing against who do we start with?
Grenada.
Grenada.
I don't think that we need to play Christian and Musa and maybe obviously McKinney will probably play because he's just coming back from injury, but I don't think we need to play those guys. They've had a long season, and no disrespect to Grenada, but why? Give the Jordan Morris is a chance to play. I'm not saying that he's going to make the roster. I agree with you guys. The Rodons and all those guys, I don't think they're going to make the roster. But why put more minutes into these players' legs when you don't need to? And if we can't, and I look at it more so not even just trying to, not even win the match, but just save their legs. And those little nagging injuries, I'm sure that they all have them. No one plays at 100% in any match. So give these boys a rest. That's my opinion. I would be very, very surprised if they played like somewhat the same 11. Very surprised.
But on the counter to that, you're leading up to, you're months away from the World Cup. Like, you only got 5 more looks, 5 more chances for guys to kind of establish themselves or see what that starting 11 could look like in Qatar. I mean, is is there maybe a case for putting out, your best players and trying to find that chemistry? Like, can you also make that argument, or is it just more imperative to kind of give these guys a breather, give them some rest?
Maybe against Grenada, you could play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could depend on the opponent for sure.
Yeah, you play Tillman, you play Luca De La Torre, maybe Jordan Morris, but I think in that El Salvador game we see closer to the same 11 we saw today. Maybe there's a change with Haji Wright. Maybe there's a change. I wouldn't think there's any other changes than that.
Yeah, I'm with these guys. I think at this point, so many of these guys have logged a lot of heavy minutes.
Yeah,
get them to vacation, get them a month off, and get them healthy for the start of their European seasons, because that matters a lot. We want our guys relatively rested and in good form heading to Qatar. So I haven't obviously I haven't been watching the game with the sound on, but apparently Uruguay made 7 subs, which even in friendlies is not allowed. Friendlies are supposed to be only 6 subs. So I think that's what some of the argument we saw between the coaches and the Uruguay's coaches and the 4th official was about. It's kind of a mess up. I don't know whether this counts as an official cap now. Like I can't remember ever seeing this.
Susannah gets on Twitter immediately. What are they saying?
Yeah, they made 7 subs.
Yeah, Palistri, who came on for Varela, was their 7th subs. I like, even in friendlies you can't do that.
What the heck?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how this one goes into the record books. I don't think it matters. I doubt that Berhalter is particularly upset, because it really is just about getting a run out, and I think the first 60 minutes matters more than the final half hour. But it's interesting.
What, could Greg just throw an extra in there for good measure? I mean, why not, right?
I guess so.
Come on. I feel it's no rules apply, apparently.
Just in case there's punishment, you just want to keep it to 6.
That's wild.
How many balls did we see of that with Jesus?
Yeah. Come on, Eunice.
Oh boy. Our buddy Scott wants to know, Doyle, Areola's sleeve is dope. When are you going to get the full tab?
When am I going to get
the full sleeve up the arm? Is it happening?
I think that ship might have sailed, man.
If the US wins the World Cup, would you get a tattoo to commemorate it?
Yeah.
No.
I was back in the day. I was like, I'm gonna have the best tats ever, and then I let it pass, and there's no going back.
No.
You guys.
You don't have any at all?
None.
Bees, do you have any ink?
I only have 2. But I got them when I was 16 years old, so those don't even count.
It counts.
No, it does not count. It does not count. I was the same. I wanted to get more, and I never did.
Suze has got what? The Cubs?
I do have a Cubs tattoo. My dad and I got matching Cubs tattoo when they won in 2016.
You have a Bulls tat?
No Bulls tat.
Wow.
No Bulls, just the Cubbies.
I think we might have a PK for the U.S.
Is there VAR? Is there VAR in this game?
Oh, is there? Yep.
There's 7 subs, so if there's VAR, they're not very good at their jobs, man.
That would not be classified as a handball.
Dude, we got instant replay right here. I love it.
If in case of a hand supporting the body as you go to ground, the bottom hand, if the ball makes contact, it's not a handball.
I gave up
the
on
arms
these rules. I gave up on VAR. I really did.
Is that
it's
because
so
the arm's in a
inconsistent.
natural position, Chuck?
Yeah, so if that arm is supporting your body as you go down, then it won't be called a handball. It's the other hand above that, if it's outstretched, if it's in an unnatural position.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Somebody just absolutely destroyed Tyler.
Tyler, yeah, they did. That's what I
just
said.
got
Ooh,
posterized.
He literally got run over.
That was Oliveira.
Was it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, he did him nasty. I ain't gonna lie.
Oof.
Yikes.
Charlie, you get a tattoo if U.S. wins the World Cup?
Here comes Luca.
What'd you say?
I said you get a tattoo if USA wins the World Cup.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Charlie, you know, I got a tattoo on camera before on BTW. I got this guy on camera with Yellow Van Dam. He got like a big LA tattoo. I know, I am. I'm fearless and I'm much cooler than all of you.
On live TV?
Well, it was not live, but it was filmed. It was filmed. There is video proof, but wow. Chuck, I think that would be good content for you. I'm just saying. I
think so.
We could live stream it.
My first tat is a U.S. World Cup logo.
Producer Anders just said he will produce it and he will get a tattoo with you to sweeten the deal.
Oh, okay.
Yep, still not going to move the needle for me.
No! What? It doesn't really hurt. Come on, guys.
Second half has been sloppy, man. I thought the first half was really good soccer from both teams.
I agree.
Second half, it kind of fell apart, right?
Yep. I mean, Christian
is that
looks
kind
tired.
of expected? Is that expected in a friendly? Is that kind of like how it goes?
I think so. And the thing you want to take out of that is like, okay, the guys who are coming off the bench are like the fringe guys who are trying to make their case. So maybe they would pick up the intensity, press harder, get a goal, whatever. And I don't think any of them have really done that.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a friend night.
So now it's like I'm just sitting here. I don't even care about the final score. I just want to make sure nobody important gets hurt.
Is this the 7th sub for the U.S.? Craig's like, oh, yeah? Well, if it stays like this, the U.S. are unbeaten in their last 24 matches at home. So that streak will continue to 25 games if it stays scoreless. We'll take a clean sheet, but yeah,
absolutely. I agree. Like tossing a shutout against Uruguay, and granted, this isn't the first team, but like this is not a bad result. I don't think this is a bad effort at all. There was obviously some stuff to clean up, but like that's why you play friendlies. That's why you play against good teams, is because they will expose your weaknesses and they will give you stuff that you have to pick out on film and you have to fix. And now it's up to Greg and the players to fix it between now and November. And that's the job.
Oh, that was a tired pass.
Yeah, it was.
Our buddy Scott Doyle said, I got my first leave at 35. Never too late. Never too late. What if you just got taquito? Like, what if you got like we could start with the cats, and
it would if I was gonna get it. If I was gonna get a tattoo of one of the cats, it would not be taquito. I guarantee you that.
How dare you? Disrespecting taquito.
Oh God.
We've had 3 cats. 2 of them are amazing, the best cats in the world, and one of them is taquito. So.
And then there's taquito. I love taquito content. Keeps it interesting. Charlie, you could get Nala. Where's Nala? Isn't she? You could get.
Yeah.
That's your first baby.
Yeah. There's a possibility there.
See?
Oh, look at that! What a softie.
Possibility. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Bees, what are your tattoos that you got when you were 16?
Yeah, see, like we're in the 87th minute right now, so I don't know.
I'm done. I'm done with this.
One of them says "Thug Life" across the.
I want to talk ink.
I tried to change that subject real quick.
I know you did. Is it like, do you regret it? Like, are
no,
you like,
I don't. It's nothing like crazy.
He's a thug at heart, so he doesn't want to take it out.
He said "Thug Life." That was good. That was a comment of the day. I like that. That was good. You made my day, Charlie. You made my day.
That's what I'm here for.
That was good.
Just a reminder, guys, we will be back right here on Thursday for that Canada matchup against Curacao, 10:30 p.m.
Rossi.
I'm saying, oh no, don't hurt us, Diego.
Good tackle.
Don't hurt us, Diego.
Oh, Palmer Brown.
Okay, see, we're still having moments.
Walker with a great tackle.
Yeah.
And Robinson too. He got
Oof.
Oh, that was it.
Oh, Doyle, we have a question about your beard. Have you ever considered shaving it, or is this part of your identity now? I can't even picture you without a beard.
Come on, sis. We worked in the studio for a year when I didn't have a beard.
I know, but now it's like I have seen, like, this is it. This is just Doyle now. Like, I can't.
Yeah. I wouldn't shave it now. I just got really sick in my face, and this does a good job of covering most of it. So I'm sticking with the beard.
I like it. I think it suits you.
Thank you. Me and Gonzalo.
Honestly, I mean, that's kind of it too. It's like I just want those comparisons to keep rolling in. This makes me happy. But yeah, that's it. I think it just suits you so much. That's why I can't even remember you sans beard anymore. Guys, we have four minutes of stoppage time in a friendly, which seems excessive.
Well, they had 13 subs.
I'm not mad at it.
It was only supposed to be 12. They got 13.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
That's what did it. Woo, boy. All right.
Oh, he went for goal.
Here. Show did. All right, guys. So as we, I know this kind of winds down here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are kind of, we saw the 3-0 result against Morocco. Now it looks like it's going to be a 0-0 draw against Uruguay. Biggest takeaways from the U.S. What did you like? What did you not like? Doyle, we'll start with you.
I mean, defensively, I think they've coped well, given the fact that we're kind of still searching for the Miles Robinson replacement, and the guy who's likeliest to win that job is not here. So posting 2 shutouts, that it's a good habit to get into. This game and the fact that neither of the forwards scored from open play against Morocco, it shines a light on the continuing issue of figuring out who the number 9 is and can we actually get production from that?
Yep. Charlie, what do you think? What are your takeaways from these past two friendlies?
I'm positive, really positive over the 2 performances because don't say that.
No.
No, he missed it. How did he miss that?
Oh
Cavani missed
my
that.
gosh.
Wow.
Good
You're
grief.
Right. I think overall it's positive. You schedule 2 difficult games against quality opponents. You take 4 points away from it. I mean, you almost gave the game away here, but that's progress to me. And I saw a lot of things that you could build off of. There are no glaring issues. I think the 9 needs to get sorted for this team to really be in peak form. You have some time, not a lot of time, but you have some time. And I think the options are dwindling. So, you're hoping some strikers come into form heading into World Cup camp. And in particular, Ricardo Pepi, just for what he offers. You want to see more of Haji Wright, I think. There were some positives tonight, but not a lot. Jesus Ferreira, I think we saw some things he did well, but he has to improve a great deal to be successful at this international level. The one thing is getting results in CONCACAF. That's another going to a World Cup and delivering. So I think that needs to improve. Everywhere else, I think it's just this team is starting to find its form because they know who's going to be playing and which positions. We really haven't had that much certainty throughout World Cup qualifying. I mean, there's certain guys, but now you know who's in place, you know the tactics, you know the formation, and now it's just adjusting within the game.
Bees, what do you think?
First off, I'd say the positive, getting two shutouts against, 2 tough teams is a bonus, is something to build off on. Another thing, obviously with no injuries, that's a big plus. Huge. I'm sure, for Berhalter and the group. The only issue that obviously we can sit here and nitpick different aspects of the game and who played well positionally, individually, and they gotta do some things here, but they have to address their slow starts. They cannot have slow starts in the World Cup. They can't. You get the first game, obviously all the adrenaline's going, and boom, first 5 minutes of the game, you're down on 1 goal. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It could be Iran, it could be Wales or England. Doesn't matter. First 5 minutes of the game, that is the worst thing that you can do is give up a goal, and they have to address it because these 2 teams have had unbelievable chances to score goals against the United States in the first 5 to 7 minutes of these games, and that's worrying a bit.
Absolutely.
So whatever if it's just play a little bit more direct. I don't know what Berhalter is going to tell the players, but if it's just playing a little bit more direct, so we don't give up anything on our end. It's got to be addressed, and I'm sure it will be. But for me, right now, after watching this game, I think that's the only alarming issue I would say for the national team at the moment. And then, obviously, at some point we can dissect everything else from the game. But,
totally fair.
All good.
Totally fair. I love that, actually, because I think that's probably one of the biggest concerns because, you mentioned it before. It's like in a World Cup, like if you give up an early goal, that is an absolute dagger. It just completely takes the wind out of the sails. And I want the U.S. to find a way to come out, just like eliminate those early mistakes, come out like with that just mentality that they're not going to do that. They're going to come out firing. And then obviously the number 9 position, if you think about come November, we're 6 months out basically from the World Cup. In your gut, if you had like a gut instinct about who that's going to be, between like Jesus Ferreira, could it be Ricardo Pepi? Could it be Daryl Dike? Could it be Haji? Like in your gut, who do you think that role is going to go to?
We got to start with Charlie. Charlie's a center forward, man.
Yeah.
I want to know what Charlie's gut says.
In my gut,
Mm-hmm.
I think Ricardo Pepi is the starting forward in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
In my gut, if I had to tell you now.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you look at his club form. It's a real difficult ask to be all of a sudden go from young up and coming guy at Dallas to I'm the guy at Dallas in a short amount of time to you're the starting forward for the U.S. men's national team. And there was always a debate: will he play for Mexico? Will he play for U.S.? Chooses U.S. Has to wait, gets his chance, takes off, gets a $20 million move, and then his form absolutely drops. I think it's the pressure. I think you could name all of the excuses in the world, but I do think that it played a big role. And we talk about confidence and mentality, and you have to learn a new system and impress a new coach and impress your teammates, and you have all of those factors living on your own in Europe. So I think now with a new coach, you have that 6 months under your belt, come into a preseason, fresh start. I think the expectation is you're going to play from start. Now earn those minutes and get those opportunities. So I think with a good start to the year, that'll give him all the confidence he needs to get back into the 9 position at this point, because no one else has done it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah. If I had to pick one person right now, I would still say Ferreira, only because he's the only one that's in form at the moment and the only one that we've seen. I think I would say this: if Haji Wright plays against Grenada and he goes and scores a hat trick, does that put him to the number 1 spot? I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think it does. So I think right now, even though Jesus didn't look as I wouldn't say sharp, but as comfortable as we've seen him in MLS and some of his past games with the national team, I still think right now, if we're just deciding right now, I still think it's his to lose. But at the end of the day, everyone has a different opinion because we don't have a true number 9. And these next 2 games.
But who do you think starting in November?
November 21st. Yeah.
I think Jesus.
You really?
I really do, because I mean he's going to be in MLS. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, yes, all the things you said about Pepe sounds great. New coach. He's starting off. From scratch. He's got his first 6 months under his belt. It's a tough country to play in. The Bundesliga. He was fighting relegation. All those different variables happened for him in that first 6 months. You don't know what's going to happen. Right now, you can say that Jesus is going to continue scoring goals for Dallas Burn. Sorry, FC Dallas. Now I went way back. Sorry.
Dallas Burn. We just got a Dallas Burn reference.
Sorry.
OG.
Right?
That was amazing.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think right now, it's his, and that's who I would say coming in November.
Oof. I think I just keep looking back to like last fall when Pepi came up and scored what do you have, 3 goals in 2 games, or I can't remember, but he came out just firing, and everyone was like, this is it. We've got our number 9. It was like everybody on the Pepi train. And it's like, we know that's what he's capable of. We know that he can produce. And I think Charlie kind of nailed it. It's a confidence thing. And if he can, 6 months, it's a lot of time, but it isn't, there is a lot that can happen in that stretch, but I would love it. I would just love it so much. I would love it if Pepi could find himself.
Just to build off of what B said, I would say, has he done enough to say you'd be comfortable starting the 9 right now with his performances? I know he's doing it in MLS. Jesus Ferreira.
Who else? I'm looking at it. Who else? If you're gonna have a number 9, and we're not throwing in Waya, we're not throwing in Pulisic, we're not throwing none of those guys. The way in the system that Berhalter likes to play, he wants a number 9. That's why he loves, Zardes. He loves some of these guys. So right now, yes. Even though he missed those chances, I mean, yes, he wasn't in those couple of different spots that he could have got in between the center backs with Waya making that cross. But I don't see anyone else making their case to be a starting 9 right now.
Oh boy.
I think Pepe has the biggest upside. We can all agree to that, I think.
Yeah.
He's 18. Sure. The way he finished, I mean, he's probably the purest finisher we have in the national team. He's 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? So his upside is amazing. We all have faith in him. But right now, in 6 months, is he going to be our number 9 in November against Wales? I can't say that.
It's the big question. It's the big question. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's look ahead.
Yeah,
I know. Guys. So the U.S. Their next match is this coming Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern against. Is it Grenada or Granada? I always get the one.
I said both. I said both.
I can't there's Grenada. I think Grenada.
Somebody get Charlie on the whole.
I get him confused.
Hey, man, you don't know.
Grenada. Grenada. At Q2 Stadium in Austin. We kind of touched on it, like if we thought that Greg Berhalter was going to maybe rest some guys, but what are you going to be looking for in these Nations League matches? Doyle, I want to hear from you.
Goals from whoever plays is the number 9.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I care about.
That's
that and no injuries. That's it.
I was literally gonna say 2 words. Not much. Seriously, I mean,
no, it's great.
Not much. I mean, these are games that just to go back to what I said, I think all these guys needs rest. To really be firing on all cylinders when they go back to preseason with their club, especially the ones that are in Europe. Give the guys at MLS. Let them play. Let Jordan Morris, Rodon, let these guys play. Let them. Yeah. I don't think. It's kind of they're at a disadvantage a bit because as us sitting, from the media part of it, if, like I said, if someone goes and we beat them 7-0, someone has a hat trick, and that's not going to change their position in the national team right now. I don't think so, because of the competition that we're playing against. So it's kind of like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just don't see, much going into these 2 games. I don't even know why we're playing it, to be honest. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Charlie, anything? Samesies?
Just give me some goals.
Just some goals. Yeah, goals would be great.
I just want to see one of those number 9s come out of there with their confidence bubbling, right? Like scoring 3 goals over 2 games, even if they're against smaller clubs. Like just come, whether it's Haji, whether it's Jesus Ferreira, whether they play Tim Waya there, whether they call up somebody out of the blue to like,
amazing.
Give me a number 9 scoring goals. That's it. That's all I want.
Same. Ditto, stamp it, cosign, all of the above. Guys, that is it for us. Thank you so much for watching. A reminder that we've got a couple more watch-alongs coming up. We've got that Canada-Curacao match coming up on Thursday at 10:30 p.m. And then next Friday, we've got the USA taking on Grenada, whatever you want to call it. That's at Q2 Stadium in Austin. We're going to be watching that as well. So tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern. But for now, I'm Susannah Collins. That is DaMarcus Beasley, Charlie Davies, Matt Doyle. Taquito is somewhere around there. But thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for getting in the comments. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you soon.
Peace.
Peace.